Hey, Asil. Welcome to today's podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Jen. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, great, thank you. The topic today is how to reduce churn and keep your clients longer.
Yeah.
So we have a mix of project clients and we have a mix of retainer clients, um, mostly retainer these days.
Yeah.
And churn or clients leaving, um, people stopping with a retainer is a big problem for agencies and service
Yeah.
companies. So, as lead generation experts, we obviously focus on the new business side of it, but what do you have to say about retaining your clients and reducing your churn?
Interesting topic, Jen. The first time I heard of this term churn was from you 3 years back, because you were in a situation where we were focusing a lot more on the new business. We were onboarding 2 to 3 new clients every month. And at the same time, we were losing 2 to 3 clients every month. So we are getting nowhere. So we are just onboarding clients, working really hard to make sure everything is from the campaign point of view, everything is set up right within the 2 3 weeks time, and then right at the end of the month, we'll just lose a couple of our clients, and the agency was not going anywhere, and it all looked chaos and a lot of work. It felt like we are just working 24/7 and we are not making anything out of it. So this is where you started to use this term a lot, churn, and then it kind of shifted our perspective as an agency or as business on not only to focus on the new business and work on the retention. So before I get into it, for our audience, I would like to ask you one question. Why churn is more damaging than not winning new business? What do you think? Why that is?
Um, I think churn is like a leaky bucket, right? You could put water in the bucket, but if it's leaking, it just goes away as fast as you can fill it up. And the point of business is to not only win business, but then to keep them around. There's something called the lifetime value of business. So, for example, if somebody signs up for 6 months, but they end up staying for 5 years, the lifetime value of that client is really high. Whereas if they sign up for 6 months and then they leave after 6 months, the lifetime value of that client is a lot lower. So ultimately, what we're talking about is not only winning the deals, but holding on to the deals and then also growing the deals, right? So we've got a few clients that started with us at a low level and they've increased their kind of budget and their spend as they get better and better results. And this is the ideal because it costs us almost nothing to win them. We've already got the relationship and all we have to do is expand what's already working. So, yeah, reducing churn is like one of the golden metrics for businesses, and I think it's something that's quite tricky, that which is why we wanted to talk about it today on the podcast. And so you mentioned that a couple of years ago we had a problem with churn. What do you think we've done to reduce the churn over that
Yeah.
time?
So one of the key things that I learned over the time was the common cause or the causes of churn that was happening within our team. I think mostly it's because of the communication part. We were not really communicative with our clients. Um, and the second was not showing the or not kind of celebrating the small wins with the clients. So we were just waiting from the communication part. Personally, I was under the impression that whatever we are putting in the efforts, the client are going to understand it. And I was expecting them to understand what we are doing for them. But it turned out it doesn't work like that. As an agency, we need to be very proactive with our communication, and we have to kind of celebrate small wins with the client and keep them kind of informed with what's going on. Even if something is not happening in the right direction, just keep them on board, walk them through on maybe not day to day, but on weekly basis, you should let them know what's going on and what are you doing in order to achieve the objective that, that's the common objective that you guys share. So I think the one of the biggest strategies that we adopted in order to have better retention rate is the very clear-cut communication. So as of now, we take bi-weekly calls with every client, and we give them updates, we re-strategize, we review our data insights, and second thing that we do is we try to set the expectations realistic, and at the same time we try to celebrate small wins with them. If we get a lead or if we see one data set picking up, we try to make sure that client understands how valuable this insight is and what it means long term. Like if we work on this insight for next 2 3 weeks, what output we can get. And I think it has definitely helped us with the winning trust and overall retention rate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point because we could easily say, well, it comes down to client fit. Like if they're qualified and they'll get good results, they'll stay long term. But
Yeah,
what you're saying is, yes, this is a factor. Obviously, people churn if they're not getting a result. But a more important factor is the relationship and the communication factor. So if they feel like they have visibility on what's happening, or they feel like they have control over changing things, testing things, and seeing, like you say, seeing the small wins, like an uptick in interested leads or an uptick in, for us, open rate or reply
yeah,
rate or something like that. Whatever that is for your company, yeah, just including the client in that is such a big one. And
yeah,
we've got a client who's about a 20-year-old company, and they told us that their biggest client started with them asking for a tiny piece of work, like a PowerPoint design 20 years ago that cost a few $100s. And now this client is worth a couple of $1 million every year to them. And so they've just grown this relationship over time from a PowerPoint to, millions of dollars. And this is the power of retention with the right client, particularly if you get in with a big company. Once you're in, they can always hire you to do other things and to increase the spend with them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the same, like same in our case. You kind of hired me initially just for one project. So I think, and now we are co-founders and we are running an agency for the last 4 years. So I think as an entrepreneur, it's a thing that you should focus on relationships, not the transactions. And as an agency or as a business owner, it should be the same case. If you are just looking at the transactions on month-to-month basis, obviously, it, from the mathematical point of view, business point of view, it makes sense. But at the same time, I think we should focus more on the relationship because ultimately it's gonna win you more business and it's gonna give you more numbers as business wise.
Yeah, definitely. And a final point I would add to this is when we look at our profit and loss, sorry, our expense, income and expense, over time, when we see that clients stay with us longer and they
Yeah,
don't churn, we notice that our expenses go down.
definitely.
So there's a kind of expense of winning new clients and hiring new people and testing new things and buying data and using software and things. But when the same people stay long term, you can get very efficient with the work that you're delivering and the profit margins increase. So
Yeah.
that's another real reason to really focus on churn or reducing churn as well as bringing in the new business. Yeah.
Makes sense. And before we end the podcast, then I have just one question for you. So, What's your take for the long-term retention? Like, what if you just have to give one secret or one advice, what that would be?
Well, on top of what you've already said, which is relationship, we talked about qualification, we've talked about, growing the account internally over time, and we talked about, reducing your expenditure. If I had to say something different to that, I would say probably the next key would always be innovation. So as a company, you're always trialing new things and ways of getting new results and ways of helping your clients better, you always have a chance to expand with them and hold them longer because you're always innovating. So, for example, we started with LinkedIn and email, but now we offer content.
Yeah.
And that's an extra thing that we can offer people to keep them happy or keep them longer. We
Yeah.
also offer, sales coaching and strategy,
All-
and that can help them if they have problems closing business, and it just helps them stay with us longer. So, yeah, I think always being open to innovation as well. That's where you can get a lot more value from the one client. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Thanks for the podcast. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks, then. See you.